So when you're hungry, the first thing you do is eat food. You drive to your nearest cafe, you pick up the menu, you order you whatever you want to have. But here is a cafe where you can understand food, whatever goes into making that food and whatever is there in the food. Shubhansh here, he came up with this idea of making you understand your food. Shubhansh, I see so many cookbooks out here, cookbooks. These are just not books. So I was attracted to this bookshelf the moment I walked in here today. But when I came closer, I was even more attracted. So there is this book, which is the showstopper. And Shubhansh, he has a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. Okay, and Shubhansh has a lot to say about this book, and I really wanted to hear a lot about it. But when he started talking, I interrupted him. That was rude, but I interrupted him, and I said, "Why not just do it in front of the camera?" Shubhansh, all yours.
Yeah, well, so anyone who's been to culinary school or has had an education in hotel management will recognize this book. This is Larousse Gastronomique. So don't go by the name, it's just by a French publisher, it's not actually French. So way back in the times when I was not born actually, there used to be people who wanted to standardize French cuisine, basically create standard recipes, create terms where these terms would be used all across France, right? So they came up with a directory or more like an encyclopedia which chefs or new chefs could refer to when they wanted to take inspiration or take ideas from people who were more experienced and people who came before them. So this book was born. The publication is the committee, the Larus Gastronomic committee, and they come up with an edition every year. And my mentor Chef Iyer, he used to say that this is a gastronomic Bible.
Okay, your coffee is here. Thank you. What is this coffee? Which coffee
This is an Americano.
Americano. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a plain Americano.
Yeah. So my mentor used to tell me that this is a gastronomic Bible, and anyone who wants to focus on learning all their lives should have this book. And obviously, it's not a book that you find on a regular bookstore. You have to actually search for it. And I guess anyone who respects himself as a cook should have this book. And if you open this book, you will find a lot of terms that
I needed help to take out that book.
lot of terms that are completely alien to you, but it's all about context. So as you can see, it's more like a dictionary. It's alphabetical in order. There are terms that you may not have heard of, but that's the job of this book, that it teaches you terms that you may not have heard of and tells you what you can do with it. There are some very minor recipes also that can tell you, like as you can see, there is a term here, far written, and then there is a recipe on how to use that term and how to use that ingredient or dish or whatever. So it's a really inspirational book, I would say. And I use this book sometimes to develop new recipes and use new terms which the city will not be privy to, so we can have that edge of first movers advantage.
Yeah, and you do have an edge. I must say that when I saw your menu, it was so different. I had to it took me around 20-25 minutes to actually decide, okay, what do I want to have really, because everything was so different that I couldn't decide that this is what I want to have today and then tomorrow I can have another one. I wanted to have everything right there, right then. There are so many other books also over here. Fermentation. There was one book on fermentation I just saw.
This is a very prized book for chef. The author is René Redzepi. To all the chefs who can listen to this, they know who René Redzepi is. He is considered the greatest chef of our generation.
Right.
Yeah, so he has a restaurant called Noma in Copenhagen, and he is considered the guy who can basically cook a rock and make it delicious. He's that skilled.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so he focuses on foraging. So he has a sort of an estate in Copenhagen where his restaurant is situated, and all of the ingredients and all of the dishes that he makes are sourced from that estate itself. So it's like a hyper local kind of sourcing, and he makes sure that even something as simple as hay that horses eat, or the dry grass can be made into something delicious and something edible. So he's that guy who created this book, the Noma Guide to Fermentation. It is highly technical, highly scientific, even for someone like me. So there are processes in this that we can't follow without creating infrastructure for it. But still, like, it talks about chemical reactions, biological reactions that happen in food, and it's a great way to educate yourself about the science of cooking as well.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to, Shubhansh, I just wanted to understand one more thing that I have been talking about on my podcast. I've been talking about how tweaking your story. Every brand has a story, and you're an entrepreneur, and tweaking your story can really help and bring more traction and more people, more eyeballs to your, or here I must say, more drools. So what is that? This is one tweak that I really appreciate, and this is a big tweak, not just because it's a bookshelf, but the kind of books that are there in it. What is your tweak?
I would say that so when I was learning how to cook professionally during my days in college, or maybe the initial years as a young chef, I would say that what intrigued me most was that people were focusing on a lot of authenticity. You would go to 5-star hotels to have authentic Indian food or authentic Italian food. So I started theorizing more about what authenticity means, right? And it basically means knowing the history of a dish and knowing the history of an ingredient, the geography of an ingredient.
Oh, this is different.
Okay, so for example, you will find a lot of Rogan Josh versions which have onions, but Kashmir doesn't grow onions.
Oh, okay. Is that okay? Oh, this is news to me. Okay.
Right. So all things considered, if we find out about the history and geography of a dish, we can create a better story for it and make sure that the story that we are telling can be retold again and again.
Wow. While you were talking, Shubhansh, what came to my mind is that your story is, of course, very different, and that makes it very attractive also. How easy or difficult has it been for you to take it to the people of the city? Because see, every city, people, they have their different tastes, and every city has its space. So bringing something from a completely different world to a completely different world. So what has the ride been like?
Well, to say that it was easy would be a gross understatement.
Doesn't have to be easy also.
Like, it is I let food push me forward, in the sense that the incentive for me, like, okay, I'm doing a business, okay, and business means that you have to make a profit and make money. That is a part of the business.
Numbers come in.
Yeah, but the drive for me has always been food, and to learn more and more about food, to develop new techniques, and to tell my story or to tell what I'm trying to say through food.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm making something as simple as a salad, for example. Yeah. So we have learned a way to make salads professionally.
Sure.
Okay. So I asked the question, why can't I do it differently? And I've learned Italian cuisine professionally, like my base is Italian cuisine. So I understand how great simplicity can be, right? So if we keep food simple, if we keep the ingredients simple and focus on championing the natural flavors, then we can create a good dish, right? So that's what the drive has been. to sort of bring out the natural flavors of ingredients. I don't indulge in a lot of masalas and all of that and
Yeah.
make, just to overcomplicate a dish. And as you can see, the presentation and all has been kept very simple
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
want the food to speak out,
Of
right?
course, yes.
So that's what the drive has been, and we survived COVID obviously. I can't say that each day is the same. Each day comes with its own challenges and everything. So making sure that we keep a consistent mindset,
Yeah.
making sure that we are not overly excited on good days and overly sad on bad days. Just make sure that we believe that whatever is coming for good. So we make sure that the journey is consistent, the flavors are consistent. That's what keeps us going.
That's such a great thought and such a good and honest core to follow when you're running a startup and a business. You just said, Shubhansh, that you keep yourself updated, you keep learning. How exactly do you do that?
Well, being in the restaurant business, I don't get time to travel, so I have to keep at it here itself. So some of the greatest chefs have said one thing in common, that knowledge will be your passport to the world.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's everywhere. It's true. Yeah.
So I try to keep reading. I try to keep exposing myself to new techniques and new ways of cooking. In this age of information, in the social media age, it's very easy to get lost in things that are not to your interest.
Yeah.
You keep doom scrolling, as they
Yes,
say.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But just even if you take out like half an hour or 1 hour for yourself, for your own personal growth, and even for your professional growth, it compiles and it compounds in the end. And 1 year or 2 years down the line, you realize that you're far ahead from where you were 2 years
Where
ago.
you started from, right? Okay, you just spoke about evolving, and you've been here a few years now. I think your cafe has been here a few years. How has it evolved? Like from where you started, there was, let's say, a certain kind of cuisine. You serve mostly continental, but within that also there must have been some evolutions. It must have evolved in a certain way.
Of course. So I would say that when we started out, we tried to be true to our name, the New Yorker Cafe. So American food, cafe vibes, making sure it was no frills, very convenient, very comforting, and the focus and the target was students then. Okay, but we realized students don't have money.
They don't.
Yeah, so we had to shift our target market. We shifted it to people who actually had money.
Families mostly.
So post COVID, we decided that we wanted to expand our menu in such a way that we could cater to the demands of what was needed, but without compromising sort of the tastes that we wanted to give.
Right.
Okay, so we focused on making more family-friendly dishes, like dishes that could be served and shared by multiple people. So we focused on that, and we created a menu that was unique completely, in the sense that no one else in perhaps MP was doing those kinds of dishes.
Okay, so what was it? What was different? I really would like to understand that. Nowhere in MP, you say the entire state you're talking about. So
Yes, I would say that, like, if we take the example of our pizzas, I haven't heard of any other restaurant in MP which does two very traditional, very authentic crusts of pizzas. So we do Roma style thin crust and Neapolitan style
I saw
sourdough
that.
crust.
I saw that.
So that is something I feel is very unique to our cafe. Then we are the only place I have heard of in MP that does Cuban sandwiches. Okay, and then it's all mix and match, like trying to figure out what the customer expects from us.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously there is an 8-to-2 ratio, like 8 people will like your food, 2 people
two
don't
people
like
would.
like your
Yeah.
food.
That's always
So we tend to focus on the 8 people.
In
because-
fact, the two people are also good. They tell you what's not right, and then you try to make it right.
Yeah,
and,
well,
you're closer to
it's-
perfection.
So my philosophy is to be honest to yourself.
Of course,
Okay,
yeah.
so just like if there is something wrong with the dish, there is something wrong with the dish.
Definitely.
But if you feel that the same set of standards are kept for everyone, and then someone does not like the dish, then maybe it's not their taste, it's not a problem with you.
Yeah.
So we make sure that, as I said, we tend to focus on the 8 people, not the 2 people.
Okay, that's a good strategy. I would have, the 2 people, maybe if they're giving negative feedback, could be helpful somewhere down the line. So I'm sure that you're doing
Well,
it because
if
your
the
food
if the
is-
feedback is genuine, then we are always welcoming
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, if someone genuinely says that, okay, you've done everything right, and I still feel that something could be done more, so we try to get people to elaborate on that, like what we can do more to give a better experience, and sometimes it does help us improve the overall experience as well.
Right. Okay, I don't know whether you would want to talk about this yet or not, but are you planning some more, maybe bigger additions or something?
Well, we've just shifted to a bigger space, so not anytime soon.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Our old space used to be like 500, 600 square feet, and now we are, in a 1300 square foot place with a dedicated kitchen and all of that. So the expansion has just happened recently, and jaldi ka kaam shaitan ka hota hai.
No, not always, but it was not jaldi. I think you've been here for 6 years.
Yes, we've been operating for 6 years, but as I said, that we want to make sure that none of our decisions are too hasty.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we want to make sure that our customers are not suffering. That we have a lot of dedicated, customer community sort of a thing where people love to come to us, and we want to make sure even in our approach to expand, we are not losing our soul, sort of.
In just one last thing, what has been your, or let me put it like this, what is your favorite feedback so far? It can be a negative feedback, it can be...
Okay. The feedback is highly misogynistic.
Okay.
Highly misogynistic.
Okay.
So please, whoever's watching it, please don't get offended.
Only women can cook.
No,
Okay.
nothing like that. So I have a client who is a very important man. Okay, he's a very important man.
Yeah.
Okay, and he has been supporting us for the past 5 years or so. Right. So when he initially came in, the first couple of times I used to cook for him myself, and I got to know that he's an important man. Right. So I made one particular dish for him, and I served it to him. And my my ethic is to, like, after 5 minutes or go, just go and ask for feedback and like how was the food and everything. So he said, and he's like, Shubhansh, अगर तू लड़की होता तो तेरे को भगा ले जाता.
Oh no, okay. Oh my god.
So as flattering as that is, it's
misogynistic,
one of the highlights when it comes to feedbacks that I receive.
Okay, but okay. It is misogynistic, yes, of course. I wouldn't put it like that, but yes, I'm a fan of your food. I must say this, yes. And ever since I had it the first time, which is last night, and now I just had a little bit of this. This is Greek salad. It's a must. So you have to have it.
Yeah. If you're vegetarian, you have to have it.
Yeah, okay. So there are non-vegetarians. Yeah, this is good. I think even if you have to pick between vegetarian and non-vegetarian, I'll go for this.
Sure.
You are not going to miss anything if you have this salad, and you wouldn't end up saying that, yeah, chicken hi kha lete se acha.
Actually, our focus in our menu is to create unique vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes.
That's what you're doing, yeah, I can see
So
this.
what we try to do is, like, there shouldn't be a FOMO when it comes to food.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you're a vegetarian, you shouldn't see a non-veg dish and say, oh, wish I had a vegetarian version of that.
Yeah.
Rather than you should be proud of the vegetarian food that you're having.
Yes.
So we try to create unique dishes. When I say unique dishes, I would say that we have versions of everything. So like if you have a non-veg dish, you don't have a veg version in our menu.
Okay.
Like you have butter chicken and butter paneer,
Right.
we don't do that.
Okay.
Right. So if, for example, we don't serve any Indian food, but if we were doing butter chicken, we wouldn't necessarily do butter paneer.
Right.
Okay. We would do a paneer dish that was so unique that it would not create an envy for the vegetarian to think, oh, wish I was having something similar to that.
Non-vegetarian, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I think that's one of the USPs of your menu. I
you
think.
could say that. Yes.
Say that, yeah. Thanks, Shubhansh. This was really good, and I am so happy that I actually bumped into this book shelf of yours.
Quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally. Actually, I had actually come here to have food and make maybe a little bit of reels or something, and go back. The moment I saw this, and the moment I saw the quality of your books, the names, the titles that were there, I said nothing doing. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. Thank you.